2015, I made parole. I was in prison. I was making parole. I didn't know where I was going to go. I was scrambling to find a place, and I was in a substance abuse treatment program in LaGrange, Kentucky, at the Rotor Farm, a prison in Kentucky. And I was making parole, and I needed a place to go. There was a guy in the program that, as he was leaving, he said, "When you get out, come and find me. I'm going to go to this place called the Shepherd's House." And I was like, "All right, I'll come. Yeah, I'll come see you." And I needed a place to go, and the Shepherd's House was there to take me in. So May the 1st, 2015 was the day that I got here. It was a Friday, and I've been involved ever since. My name is Roger Fox, and I'm a vice president at the Shepherd's House. My role in the vice president includes managing community impact treatment programs, so like outpatient programs, and a lot of community development programs and public relations, basically. The Shepherd's House is a 501c3 nonprofit drug and alcohol treatment program. We were formed as a place to house men who were returning to our community, and Fred Hood and some more parishioners from Good Shepherd's Episcopal got together and said there was a problem. There was a problem that there wasn't a place for men to come to whenever they were coming back to Lexington from treatment. So they said, we need to get together, we need to do something. And the Shepherd's House was born. Fred Hood, whose son struggled with alcohol abuse, they'd been through this a lot. A lot of families get caught in this cycle, like sending their loved one to treatment, then they're coming home and there's not a place for that person to go to. And Fred Hood, said we need to do something. There were a lot of members or parishioners at Good Shepherd's that wanted to be involved, and the church really started working on this mission, and it took several years for the program to develop. In 1989, in July of 1989, we took our first client in, and we've grown from there. That first program, that first house, when we first initially got started, we could only do about like 12 to 13 guys, and we've grown to serving 35 at this location, 300 across 6 counties, and adding more in the future. I mean, that's it shows the dedication of Fred, and his passion for making a difference, not only for his son, but for every other family that's going to be going through this in the future. And I can't imagine, like 1985, treatment is prevalent today, sober living is prevalent today, recovery housing, all these things, there's all this money being thrown at it, but in 1985 there was nothing, and to say, all right, I have a problem and I need to do something about it, and then to go out and get it done, much less like the help of a church at that time too, which is huge. It says a lot about Good Shepherd and the people there. Really, the Shepherd's House is built on peer accountability. So, everybody in the program becomes your brother or your sister, and you kind of learn and grow together. We're 12-step based, so we want you to go to AA, we want you to get involved, get a sponsor, do 90 meetings in 90 days, go to therapy, get a job, pay your rent. And that's the most important thing, is that you learn how to be responsible for yourself. Thinking about it. Thinking about being in the program, you have to grind it out. You have to know that you're doing the right thing, that you're on the right path, because there's days, a 365-day long program, that's a long time, and we're tough on you. We want you to go to meetings every day. We want you to meet with your sponsor. You got to go to work, like my first job was at Five Guys on Nicholsville Road, and they were way too serious about cheeseburgers, and I just got out of prison, and I was just like, what? I can't deal with this. I never even had a job in my life, I can't deal with this. But then I would come back here, and the guys would be like, it's going to be okay. It's the brotherhood, you know? That's what it is that we're a family. And you're a family when you're a client here, you're a part of the family, and when you graduate the program and you go on to live your life, whatever that may be, you're still a member of the Shepherd's House family. You know, it just so happens that I'm blessed enough to be able to still work here. And my partner in there, Christian counselor, he's a vice president, he's a graduate of the program, and that's my brother, you know? And Jerry Thomas, our boss, he's our brother, you know? And really that's what makes the difference, is that we love each other. This is a mission of the heart. I promise you, we're never gonna wake a person up in the middle of the night and say, hey, you didn't pay your rent, you gotta go. You know, we believe in doing the next right thing, and we try to instill that in our clients. I mean, it's just the experience of being here on campus, or that old house that we were in, and thinking about the tough times over there. Like, there wasn't no air conditioning upstairs, you know. So it's like those little things that they just really connect us, and yeah, it's just like a bond, you know. You're like, oh, you know, so like, oh, you were here in the 90s, so did you know James Hunter, who was the house manager here for 20 years, you know? And they were like, yeah, that's the scariest person I've ever met, you know? And I'm like, yeah, me too, you know? It's like, all right, so we're automatically connected, you know? It's just like that connection of like, you know, I graduated from Campbellsville in May with my BSW, and one of the social work professors came up to me, and he started talking to me, and I'd had one of his classes. It was an addictions class. And he said, I graduated the Shepherd's House in the 90s. And I said, no way. You know, and this guy's a doctor now, teaching, you know, social work classes. And I'm like, that's awesome. You know, it's like, I hope I get to have that experience in the future. But, you know, just overall, in the state of Kentucky, and really in our country, you know, we're at the height of just this epidemic. You know, and like in 2019, you know, 1,964 individuals died from a drug overdose in Kentucky. You know, so while we're serving 300, we have to continue to expand and offer our services to more people, because like that's 1,964 families that were affected, no telling how many children, you know, and just lives lost of people that could go on to be vice presidents of nonprofits, or, you know, build skyscrapers, or do whatever, you know, really make a difference in a lot of lives. So the need today for programs like the Shepherd's House is even greater than ever. The need for people like Fred Hood to say, you know what, there's still an issue out here. Let's figure out how we can tackle it and create a difference. And then fast forward 30 years and see like it's made such a difference in a lot of people's lives. And when you look at the country as a whole and you start identifying states that have been heavily impacted by the opioid epidemic, you know, you start looking at states like Kentucky and West Virginia. You know, West Virginia, #1 per capita for overdose deaths, right? The least amount of treatment beds in the entire country, though. So you're telling me, like, how does that even make sense? Kentucky's kind of in the same boat, you know. With expanded Medicaid and things like that, it's really opened up access to treatment for individuals, and, you know, this huge push for medication for opioid use disorder. There's a lot of things popping up. There's money to be made in the industry, and people know that, but at the same time, like I was talking about earlier, the mission of the Shepherd's House is to just serve our individuals, not make our board a profit, not, you know, make their staff a profit, you know, help anybody get rich. We just want to change people's lives, because this is not a profitable business for us. Housing men and women across the state, it's a tough job, but I think, you know, for guys like me or for Christian that are graduates of this program, the Shepherd's House is my life. You know, I mean, I showed up here on Friday, May the 1st, 2015 in state issued khakis. I had $20 to my name, and through this process of just becoming involved in this mission, I've been able to give my kids a life. I've been able to go back to school. I've been able, you know, to get my bachelor's degree, be enrolled in my master's program, do all these things, you know, because of this program. So it's just like, it doesn't matter what the pay is. It matters whenever you meet a guy, he's coming into the program, you meet him, you start investing in him, you start talking to him, and then a year later you see him graduating the program, and he's going on to live a successful life. I mean, this is a tough program to graduate. It's few and far between. It's a year that you're dedicating to your life, and you're getting out of your head and you're saying, all right, I'm going to dedicate 12 months to myself, you know? And the guys that do that, we see a huge difference in their lives. I would suspect that there's been hundreds over the last 30 years. So, you know, from Northern Kentucky all the way down to Boyle County, we're making an impact, and these are people that are going to go back to their communities and remember, just like I did, that I don't have to turn back to a life of crime. I don't have to turn back to using drugs. I don't have to do any of these things. I'm a good person. I can make a difference in my life and stay out of jail. Initially, we had 3 different locations kind of here in Lexington, because this is a 12-month program, 12 to 18-month program. You phase up and you start here, and then as you get into phase 3, you move to another location, which we call our phase 3 house. Well, we always had 2 phase 2 houses. 2 phase 3 houses, right? One at Lyndhurst and one at Linden Walk right here on campus. And the house at Linden Walk was called the Fred Hood House. And we had that house for many years, and it just like deteriorated. It was in really bad shape. We didn't think that it made sense to kind of reinvest the money in that property there. So we let it go a few years ago and just moved all of our phase 3 to one central location. And so the Fred Hood House was gone, you know? So we've been going through this process for a few years, and we moved from our original location to this location. And, you know, typically if you go and find a treatment center, or if you go and find a halfway house, it's going to be where rent's cheap, which is in a bad neighborhood. Like, so how much sense does it make to try to put people that are recovering from drug and alcohol use in a neighborhood where, you know, they're selling crack on the corner, or there's heroin down the street, or there's alcohol in every store, you know? This is a beautiful location, and just to be here, it makes I remember, you know, I mean, I was fresh out of the penitentiary when I got here. Like, I kind of felt like I was somebody once I was here on campus, you know. I was just like, okay, it was like, all right, I feel like somebody, you know. I felt good about myself. I was in a good location, and so the surroundings really make the difference. And we wanted to get around to naming the house after Fred again, because he's our founder. It was his idea that was born and brought this whole process to life, and it's been his heart that's been at the center of this mission the entire time, you know. So we just thought that it was appropriate, and then of course right after our 30th anniversary, COVID hit, so everything was kind of stalled, you know, and impacted everything. But once we knew we were able to do this, and we said we got to rename this house the Fred Hood House and have a big ceremony for him. So last Thursday, we had a great ceremony. The mayor was here. It was a great time, and it meant a lot to me to be able to. I remember after it was all over, I kind of got to go up and talk to Fred Hood and just say, "Hey, thank you for saving my life." You know, like that's awesome. You know, the biggest thing that I got from this ceremony on Thursday was that we all are going to face problems in our lives. There's always going to be things that seem like we can't overcome. And you may come up with an idea, you know, it's like, man, this is a good solution to that problem. Well, you know, if you do come up with that, be like Fred and like do something about it, you know, because like without Fred, this would have never happened. You know, without him, his determination to create a solution to this problem, you know, and he stuck with it and he's seen it through, and then it's grown into something amazing that saved my life and, you know, all of my friends' lives.